if we start messing around with the order, we're also going to fundamentally change the relationship of, the intervals between the notes in the chord. Welcome to the channel, or thank you very much for returning if you've been here before. I'm Dan Weiss, creator and owner of MFile Music Theory and Songwriting. We are all about helping you gain control of your creative passion and power so you can become the musician you are supposed to be, making the most impact with your music by creating the music that you hear in your head. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that little bell notification so you don't miss my super amazing, ultimate, life-changing content when it comes out. Now, let's get to the video. So let's talk about chord inversions. Shall we? Can we do that? Can we do that? We want to get a chord inversions for the table? Chord inversions. This is something that you probably hear about. Inversions of a chord. What does that mean? Why would I want to do that? How does it work? Well, let's talk about it. We'll bring up our keyboard of knowledge here. There we go. Now, we've talked about triads. It's the most simple structure of a chord. So we got C major, 3 notes. It's every other note, starting from the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and we got ourselves a nice little chord. C major, right there. So we have C major, a C major triad. Pretty simple. Now, what would the case be? Okay, we've got a C major chord on a chord chart, or we're just supposed to play C major, whatever. Does that mean we're only limited to that one shape of C major, whichever one you've clung to religiously, so devout to this thing, so you don't have to learn another shape for the same chord? So you don't want to confuse yourself or make things too complicated, right? But what happens? Okay, you don't want to just play that open chord C shape. The one method is inverting the notes in the chord. We don't want to go playing a completely different chord, because then we'll start getting some weird notes in there, and it might sound a little off, and that's not what we're going for at this point in time. But if we start rearranging the notes within this C major chord, we're getting more options for the same thing. Now, if we look at how these notes are organized, we've got C to E, and that is an interval of a major 3rd. And you can hear that when you play it. And then between the next one here, E to G is a minor 3rd. And you can hear the difference between the two of them. Right? So if we start messing around with the order, we're also going to fundamentally change the relationship of, the intervals between the notes in the chord. So if we were to, take that low C note and move it all the way up, boop, we've now created an inversion. Took the bottom note, put it on top, but something else interesting happens, because now we've got this minor 3rd here between the E and G, and then we've got a perfect fourth interval between G and C. That interval did not exist before. So it sounds like a bit of a different chord, even though it's the same one. So when we look at our original, this is what we call root position triad here, C major, because the root of the chord is on the bottom. When we have an inversion of the chord, the C goes up, and now we have our first inversion chord. Can we do this again? I don't know, let's find out. So we've got our first inversion, E, G, C, still a C major chord. If we were to take that bottom note, pop it on top, now we've got G, C, E. Same notes in the C major chord, just in a different order. And once again, we have a perfect fourth now on the bottom, and a major third between the C and the E on top. So again, we've changed the relationship of the intervals between the notes in the chord. And this is the second inversion. Basically, you just keep taking notes from the bottom and putting them on top and cycling through, and you create different inversions of the same chord. So again, we have a root position with the C to E, creating a major third on the bottom, and E to G, creating a minor third on the top. Sounds quite nice. And then we have first inversion, minor third on the bottom, perfect fourth on top. And then second inversion with a perfect fourth on the bottom and a major third on top. And there you have it, chord inversions. With one chord, you create 3 chords, and that's just a 3-note chord. You start adding more notes on there, picking and choosing which notes you want to play out of a whole stack of them, and just inverting that and seeing what you can come up with. Things get pretty crazy, and you come up with all kinds of different options. So don't ever feel like you're stuck to just one type of chord, you know. Move them shits around. Get crazy with it. If you want to learn more about any of the topics discussed on today's episode, or if you like to expand your horizons so you can make the most amount of impact with your music, please be sure to check us out at mfile.ca.